Hi guys, so I've got a video for you today. I didn't do a video yesterday because I didn't trade yesterday, as I was quite busy with my other things that I had going on in my life. But yeah, so today I managed to get a video. I managed to get a trade in today. And what I also did, I didn't manage to record it because mostly I entered through the computer, but I managed my whole trade through my phone, so I wasn't able to actually sit and record my entry when I was entering into the market. So we're just going to quickly have a look at the daily time frame, just to give you an idea on what we were looking at. So yesterday when I wasn't trading, we had this move right here, and as you can see, we've broken right through this fair value gap. Now, prior to the daily, we'll jump into the weekly. So last week we went up, we came down, tagged this fair value gap. I said that I was going to be bullish, continued to go up, took this high very slightly, giving you the relative highs up here. So I was bullish for the week, as the market is showing me that it continually wants to go higher. So if we go down to the daily time frame, last week what we had was, once we had this high, we broke this high here, and then we dropped down to fill in all the fair value gaps. So we had a fair value gap here, we had another fair value gap here, and we had another fair value gap here. And as you can see, up until this candle, we filled out all these fair value gaps. So we've cleaned the market. And you can see the low of this candle is right there. So it's just almost, it just peeps over the open of this candle. So you've seen there that previously I had a trade on this day, which I showed you I was bullish, and I caught that trade. You can look at my previous videos. But yesterday's trade, you can see we've went right through this, so we're going to continue to go up, I believe, and take out these relative highs and continue to climb up and take out the liquidity above here. Moving down into the 1 hour time frame. So today's date, just to quickly mention, today's date is the 22nd, and this is the date that I actually made the trade. And you can see down here on TradingView, it says the 22nd. So prior to the 22nd, 21st, we had this nice run up, and yesterday, which I did not trade, but as you can see, as we made this run up yesterday on the 21st, you can see that from here, if I take it from here, I'm going to click that. Before I put the markings on, I just want to quickly show you, we ran up 241 pips. So the 21st, that's what had happened. So I'm just going to now put on my markings just to show you what I've seen and what I was expecting. So that is my markings. You can see that we had a previous 1 hour fair value gap on the left if you want to go and check that out yourself. This was a daily fair value gap that I just mentioned that we went right through yesterday, and that has now been closed, so therefore I stopped that right there. So what I do with my fair value gaps is, once they have been filled and they close, I stop the box at the moment that they close. And the reason I do that is so that I don't make my chart too messy as I'm moving forward. So you can see yesterday we had a 1 hour fair value gap here and another 1 hour fair value gap here. You can see that during the night session for US and during London, I'll scroll in here, during London we decided to retrace and fill in all the fair value gaps. Now if I jump into the 15-minute time frame just to show you, so I had my markings right here. There is New York Open. So we dipped down, rallied higher, and then during London session, we dipped all the way down to fill in these two fair value gaps. So when I seen this happen prior to entering the market, what I did was I was just analysing to see what they were wanting to do. So you can see that the market pushed up. We had a high here. The high here just tipped over it. And what we did was we were creating, you can see I've got a 5-minute fair value gap here. I was just looking to see how the market would react. So you can see that we got some sort of reaction, and then we came back up, took out this high, a very small amount, and then continued to move lower. Now if I move into the 5-minute chart, just to show you what I was seeing, was prior to New York, which is New York 7 and 10, which is here and here, you can see we made a run up. We had a 5-minute fair value gap here, and we had another 5-minute fair value gap here. But because I was looking, the reason why you don't see me mark out this fair value gap is because if I take this low to this high, 50% is around about here. And in order for me to enter a trade, I have to be below 50%, which means that I would be this fair value gap that I'd be looking for. Now, during New York session, 7 a.m. kicked in. We had a little retracement into this fair value gap, pushed up, another fair value gap here, touched that, and then decided to go lower. Now when we went lower, now you might be asking, why did I not enter in this 5-minute fair value gap? And the reason for that is if you look at the candles, there is no market shift when I move in here. Now I'll probably go into the 3-minute and I might see something now, but while I was looking at the market, I could not see anything. And the only thing that I could see was when we had this rally up, down, rally up, breaking this swing high, next candle stopped there, we had a small fair value gap right here. And what I did was I entered on this candle knowing that we were actually going to move up. If I move into the 3-minute, I'll see if I can show you what I've seen there. So the 5-minute candle, I could have entered in the 5-minute candle, but the reason why I entered earlier was because we had, was it the 1-minute or the 3-minute that I was looking at? I think it was the 1-minute that I was looking at this point. So when this move happened, when this came down to retest it, that's when I drew this 5-minute fair value gap. And I'm going to make this a bit smaller because I like to make my charts a little bit tidy, as much as anyone else might think that they're really messy. So in this 5-minute fair value gap, I couldn't see anything in terms of a break of structure with a fair value gap. You can say that there's a fair value gap here, but there is no break of structure for me. So therefore, I could not have entered in here. This move right here, that move is a break of structure to me. So therefore, we had a fair value gap here, and we had a fair value gap between this and this candle. Now, when we were respecting this right here, and then we were moving up again, when this candle broke this, I decided to wait for the candle to come down and enter in this small fair value gap. So that's the reason why you see that I have entered right there, and that is where I entered. Now when I entered, the market went up, broke up, came back down, tested this 5-minute fair value gap again, and also just to mention, when I placed this trade, my stop was here. And you can see the market went up, came back down to retest this. The other reason why I entered here was because I was bullish on GBPJPY, we were underneath the New York Open and we were underneath the 830 during London session, but I couldn't see my setup. Now my setup, now that I'm thinking, I could have entered right here to give me a better entry, but I managed to get in here, so that's where I got in, because you've got this small fair value gap and this candle just peaked below it, and then that could have been an entry possibly, so I could have got a better entry, but I managed to get in here. The market came down, retested this 5-minute fair value gap again, continued higher, and if I go into the 15-minute time frame, what I'll show you is if I scroll in, you can see we've got relative highs here where this one just peaked over. That is exactly where I took my first partials, or I was looking to take my first partial. So as soon as that went up, you can, and now that I've shown you that, I'll drop into the 1-minute time frame just to show you, and you can see there is where I exited the trade as it went up, and you can see the market continued up. There were 2 1-hour fair value gaps. I'll make that smaller because that's been filled here, and you can see that that has been completely filled now as well. And you can see that I took partials here and then I closed the trade right here manually, and because I was going to be busy and I wasn't going to be looking at my phone to be able to manage the trade. So initially when I took this partial, I moved my stop loss up from here and I moved it up to break even. When I moved up to break even, I just manually closed the trade here, and it got cancelled. So I was out of the market right there. You can see the market then continued to fill in this fair value gap, and now it's starting to retrace, and as the day ends and we get a new candle, a new day is going to begin. If I just quickly show you, I entered here, move up, so about 48 pips I managed to capture there. So happy with this trade, happy with the setup that I have done, and that was my trade today. What I think is, if we look at some of the lines above, we've got 15-minute equal high above here. We've also got, this will now be the 2-day high up here, and this will be the 1-day high up here. So we'll have the 1-day high up here, 2-day high here, we've got a 1-hour high here, we've got a daily high here, which is the candle that we're looking to get. So ideally I'd like to capitalize that move right there, because we're going to be bullish on GBPJPY. So yeah, that was my trade. It's my walkthrough of the trade and what I was thinking. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, share as well, and I will try and make another video if I can get into another trade tomorrow. And just before I actually go, one thing that you do notice is when I got this break, there is a small fair value gap here, but I wouldn't use this currently right now because we haven't got a break of structure. Well, we have a break of structure here, so we could maybe come down and test this, possibly, or they might just continue to go up and look for this because it is closer to this. But yeah, if I have a trade tomorrow, I'll try and upload a video, and yeah, I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.